Hello everyone, my name's Alison Woodall and I have an online guide called Make the Move that takes you step by step through the process of planning your move to a new state in the USA. And you can find out more at alisonwoodall.com. Well, today I am looking forward to talking to John Grimes, and he is a realtor in the Acworth, Georgia area. John, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Allison.
Well, I'm really looking forward to talking to you all about the Acworth and the surrounding area that you cover. But first of all, I would like to know just a little bit about, your history. I know you've lived in Georgia for a long time, but you've lived other areas as well that have given you lots of experience all about moving.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was born on Long Island. I can't even fake a good accent anymore. Um, I had the good sense to move my family down to Georgia when I was 5. I lived in Roswell growing up, and then I joined the Army, and I went out to Oklahoma, and I was stationed in California for a couple of years. I really enjoyed that in Monterey. Beautiful, beautiful area. And then after that, I went to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and graduated from LSU, and then I came on home to Georgia back in 1993.
Okay, so you're kind of I think if you move when you're 5, you probably count as almost a Georgia native. But I know there's a lot of people watching the video who are living in California and thinking of moving. Was there a reason why you didn't want to stay in Monterey?
Yeah, well, I loved the area. It was gorgeous, but I really didn't see myself being a homeowner anytime soon. I mean, this is back in the late 80s. It was expensive back then. I could imagine today, but yeah, so that didn't seem to be a prospect for me. So I went on to greener pastures.
Okay, so you understand the experience of someone who is living in California or any other extremely expensive state who's just looking for something more, maybe wanting to get on that home ownership ladder for the first time, or maybe wanting a bigger property or more acreage or something like that. So that's good that you have that kind of understanding.
Yeah, yeah, people, we're not trees. If we don't, if we're not digging where we're at, we can pick up and move.
Yeah, and you've moved several times within the Acworth area, have you?
I have, yes. So be before I met my wife, I probably moved 5 or 6 times. We've been married 20 years, and we've moved. This is our 6th house together. So we were in the North Fulton area when we got married, and then I was a Cobb County firefighter for 20 years. So um, my work was in Cobb, so I decided to move to Cobb. I was in Smyrna, which is a town that's like right off of 285, or in California they would say the 285. And then when our child got to about school age, we moved to East Cobb, which is known for its really good school system. Um, but we wanted a yard for the kids, so we moved out to West Cobb. And then at some point we realized these kids are not going in this yard. So we decided to move more central. So now we're in Central Cobb, in between 75 and 575 in Acworth. So pretty much between that pie slice in the north side of town. Cities like Marietta. We lived in Marietta. We lived in Smyrna. We live in Acworth now. My office is in Woodstock, which is like 10 minutes from here. So that's my bread and butter. Cobb County, I know it's easier to search cities, but I I'm in Cobb a lot, and Cherokee. So basically the northwest of Atlanta, straight north, my old stomping grounds in Roswell. There's just some really awesome communities on the north side. I know there are on the south side too, but that's not my area.
I think that's a good thing whenever you live in a big urban area, you can find that place that feels like home to you. So what is it that you particularly love about the kind of the area that you're in now?
Well, North Atlanta, there's a lot of jobs. there's a lot to do. You know, the Atlanta Braves are in Smyrna, just at 285 and 75. We have Lake Allatoona. We've got the Etowah River, the Chattahoochee River. There's a national park there at 285 and over towards East Cobb, and there's lots of city parks and county parks, and there's a lot of parks, and there's a lot of restaurants and shops, and you know, there's a lot to do. There's theater, you know, so there's always more to do than you have hours to do it.
Okay. And you're also, if you run out of things to do in your area, you can zoom down I-75 and get straight into Atlanta relatively quickly, as long as it's not rush hour.
Yeah. Being in Central Cobb, it takes me about a half hour to get downtown. So that's not bad. And we like the mountains, so we'll go up to the North Georgia mountains. It takes us about an hour, hour and a half, two maybe, depending on what community we're visiting. And we're about 4 hours from the beach. We can get to Hilton Head in 4 hours. Tybee Island, the Georgia coast, in about 4.5 hours. Destin and Panama City, those areas are about 6 hours away, maybe 5.5 if you're not taking breaks all the time.
So there's a lot of stuff going on in your area. So let's talk about specifically your market. What would you say is your average price point, just so someone knows whether your market's accessible to them or not?
Yeah, I follow the median price, you know, because that's half of the houses are sold above it and half are sold below it. In the metro area, it's about 360, right? It's 359.9 is the median price in the Atlanta area. In my specific area, like Marietta, Smyrna, Kennesaw, Acworth, Woodstock, that area, we're looking at about 418 for a median price. Now, if you go a little further out, you can find a pretty decent house for about 300.
Okay. And so when you say, like, it gives someone an idea what like an average house looks like. Is that 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms? What is an average house?
Yeah, 3 or 4 bedrooms. You know, we have basements here. Some areas of the country don't really know what a basement is, but Georgia's got a lot of nice variety in the topography, and the North Georgia area in particular is pretty hilly. I never realized how hilly Georgia was until I drove from California to Atlanta. That was an eye opener. I think I learned a lot about Georgia on that trip by seeing how different the rest of the country was. You know, and when I got into the South and I started seeing trees, I wanted to pull over and just go hug a tree.
But yeah, trees are wonderful. And I think when you come across the plains, or like if you're in California and there's not a lot of trees, Georgia, there are trees everywhere. Yeah. So if we get back to talking about the kind of housing, the housing that you have in your market. So presumably while your median price point is, you know, the low 400s, presumably you have a range. So if someone's wanting a beautiful mansion, do you have those available in your area?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You can get a, you know, mansion territory starting at about $1 million. In Cobb, you know, you go out further, you'll get a mansion maybe for $600,000-700,000. The price tag has appreciated like most of the country. Mm-hmm. But Atlanta's still pretty affordable. You know, the Atlanta area for a big metropolitan city is still quite affordable. You know, and Georgia has got so much to offer that's beyond Atlanta. You know, most people are familiar with Atlanta, but there's so many little nice pockets that are quite tranquil and quite peaceful and very, very sensible. You know, things are orderly and you know, very calm.
And that's why I love where we live, because when you live just outside the metro area, outside the 285 corridor. It's one of the, you can go an hour and you'll be in the woods and it's peaceful and tranquil, or you'll be by a lake or by a river, or you go a little bit further and you can be at the coast. But then if you go the opposite way, you can be, in a big urban area, you can be downtown. And so that to me is why I love the whole Atlanta area. Do you have anything in your market where you could buy a house on a little bit of property?
Sure. Yeah. West Cobb is still, it's got some opportunities out in West Cobb for larger estates. And then Paulding has got quite a bit, and Bartow County as well. The northern Cherokee, you can find that. So around Cartersville, Eufaula, Dallas, Georgia. So yeah, there's places within an hour and a half of the city where you can have a nice spread, but still being within striking distance. If you get to the city occasionally, it's not such a hike.
Okay. And what about like low prices? Do you still have those, fixer-upper kind of houses that you can get for a really affordable price? Do you have that kind of property in your market? I mean, when I'm talking like 200,000, something like that, or are they very hard to find in your market?
In the market that I work primarily, Marietta, Kennesaw, Acworth, Woodstock, in those immediate areas, 200 is not going to get you a lot.
I always just ask the question because if there are some people who are leaving a very expensive state and just want to get on that property, that first step on the property ladder. And there's some very affordable states. 200,000 can get you a really nice property in parts of Mississippi or parts of Alabama. And so if you've got a very low budget, then it's good to know, yes, I can afford to be in this market, or maybe I need to look in another market. So that 350,000 price point that you said is your, the average for the Atlanta area, that's a good guide as kind of the lower end of your market too.
Yeah. You can still find something pretty decent, even in Cobb, for 350-ish, like a 3-bedroom. But if you're looking in the 200s, then we'll probably need to fuel up the car and go for a drive.
Obviously I live in the Atlanta area and I find it very affordable, but what's your experience of the cost of living in Atlanta and in your area compared with the rest of the USA?
Well, yeah, when you're considering moving to an area, obviously cost of living is going to be huge, and the Atlanta area is still relatively inexpensive compared to other major metropolitans. You can find a decent house in the low 400s. My utility bills are reasonable. If it's summertime, my electric bill is usually about 200-ish. My heat, my natural gas bill would be about 100. In the winter, those flip-flop. The property tax we pay, my house is probably worth about $550, and my bill is around 4,200-ish per year. And I've had people moving in from New York ask me, 4,200, you pay $4,200 a month? That's higher. And I was like, no, that's per year. And so I don't feel like that's too unreasonable. But in Cobb, this is nice. In Cobb, if you're 62 or older, you don't have to pay school tax, which is huge. That's like 3/4 of your tax bill gone. So, you can live quite affordably if you're 62 or over.
Yeah. Because it's amazing nice how much you actually pay for schools. And if you look at your itemized tax bill, because my kids would say to me, I don't want to ride the school bus. And I'd be like, oh, yes, you are riding that school bus. I paid a fortune in taxes for you to ride that school bus. There's no carpooling for you.
Oh, I wish all the parents were like that. It would cut out a lot of traffic.
You mentioned earlier about schools, because I know if people are moving with children, schools are a big issue. Tell me about the schools in your area.
Well, they're very good. I like to be the source of the source, so I can help my people do their own uh, research and make their own decisions of what's good, what good means to them. But you know, I encourage people to look at like niche.com and Neighborhood Scout, School Digger, City Data.
So if someone's looking for a school district, there's a full range of options for different schools in your area. And I like the resource. I agree with all the resources. You know, what's a good fit for your kids may not be a good fit for my kids. And so as parents, we just have to find the place that's perfect for our kids.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and visit the area, walk into the school, you know, try to talk to some of the faculty.
Okay,
Right.
so let's talk about employment. So do you have any major employers in your area, or are you more of like a commuter area for Atlanta?
We are a big commuter area still, but we do have quite a bit of employment here. We have Kennesaw State University, which has thousands of people on payroll. We have the plane manufacturer, Lockheed. Lockheed's here cranking out planes. Um, we have a lot of jobs right here in Cobb County for sure. But in the metro area, we have Home Depot is headquartered in Cobb County in Smyrna. But yeah, throughout the metro area, we've got Newell Rubbermaid and Dyson Croup, the elevator people. They've got a big building right there by the Battery, which is the Braves Stadium. We've got so many Fortune 500s that are headquartered here, and there's a lot of European companies that have their North American headquarters here. UPS, UPS is homegrown. Delta Airlines. So our economy is very diverse. There's so many products and people coming and going from Atlanta all the time. You know, with the Atlanta airport, that's not only moving more people than any other airport in the world, but we also are moving a lot of freight in and out of Hartsfield. And, you know, we've got interstates all connecting, you know, from all parts of the country. Savannah is like 4 hours away, and there's so much freight coming in and out of Savannah, headed a lot of times straight to Atlanta or through Atlanta. We have a lot of car manufacturers around here on the western side of Atlanta, towards Alabama, and the battery operated cars now are getting big here with Rivian building, you know, a multi-billion-dollar facility east of Atlanta.
I see a lot of houses being built, and you know that's it's great that to me, once you see the tower cranes going up in downtown areas or like metropolitan areas, that's when you know that an area is booming. And there's all around where I live, there's new construction. You go downtown, you see the tower cranes. It's a very vibrant city. And then particularly where you know around your area, not only do you have the big employers, but because you have all the amenities, you have Amazon, you have all Walmart and Target and all of those just kind of what I consider like regular employers just to provide the services that people need when you're living in a more kind of built up area.
That's right. That's right. And you know, healthcare is big here, and tourism. The film industry is huge. Yeah, so we're not a one trick pony by any means.
Well, excellent. And so you've got schools and jobs and transportation covered. You've got a very, you know, affordable market. So it sounds like you've got everything covered, and you've also moved personally yourself. So you have the experience to be able to guide someone, you know, as they're moving. So anything else you want to cover before you tell people how they can contact you?
Oh, well, I love it here. I've lived in several states, and I was come back here, and it's just such a great environment. We have 4 seasons, sometimes in the same day, but my favorite season is fall. I almost said college football season, but the two go in hand. That's big here in Atlanta and the South in general. You know, we love our college football, but you know, and the crisp air and the leaves changing and the festivals, and you know, there's just so much to love about the fall. But spring is nice too. It's really beautiful. So there's always something to do. Yeah, so it's just a very beautiful, peaceful environment.
Mhm. Oh, wonderful. So if someone wants to get in contact with you, what is the best way to reach you?
Okay, yeah, I'm John Grimes. I'm with Atlanta Communities. My phone number is 404-663-5772.
Okay, and then that's the best way. Is that your cell phone? Can people text you
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that's my cell phone, and I'm really good about answering, or at least getting back quickly with people. You know, if somebody would rather email me, that's fine. It's john@jgrimesgroup.com. And you know, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, you know, whatever people are comfortable with, I'll meet them where they are.
Okay, perfect. Well, I will put all your contact information in the notes wherever you are watching this video. John, thank you so much. It has been so great talking to you. I personally love your area, and if anybody else is interested, I would really encourage them to reach out and talk to you.
All right, very good. Thanks, Allison.
So long, California. I'm headed off to somewhere new. I may lose the mountains, the rhythm of